In this video, we're going to share with you our first impressions of Da Nang, Vietnam after living in this beautiful and dynamic city for 3 weeks.
We'll give you all the information you need to decide whether or not Da Nang is a good fit for you for your next trip to Asia.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Kathy, and we're a semi-retired couple in our 50s who got rid of all of our stuff in 2024 so that we could begin to travel the world full time. This is Good Life Red.
So we flew AirAsia from Kuala Lumpur. It was a 2.5-hour nonstop flight. And after flying AirAsia a few times in the past year, we can confirm that they're a quality, organized, budget airline for getting around Southeast Asia.
Yeah, and to visit Vietnam, you need to have an e-visa. It's $25 per person. We gave 10 days leeway to get that done, but they still got it back to us within 5 days. But I still recommend taking the 10 days to apply for it online. And then you'll need to have a printout because they check that at both your departing airport and your arrival airport.
Most of the hotels do have an airport shuttle. So if you're staying at a hotel, that's a good option. We stayed at an Airbnb, so we just got a Grab ride. And Grab is by far the most common rideshare platform in Da Nang. We stayed in an Airbnb in the An Hai neighborhood for about $43 a night. And it was just about a 10-minute walk from the beach. You can also get a hotel right near the beach for about that same price. And it would come with a full breakfast buffet, which is great. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description.
Yeah, we love the An Hai neighborhood. It was conveniently located, as Derek said, near the beach. And also it had tons of little shops and coffee shops, restaurants, stores. So it had every convenience you could need. And everyone that lives around there was really friendly and welcoming.
So one thing you always need to do when you get to a new country is get out some cash. So I just took out 3 million dong, which is about $125. And the exchange rate is like 26,000 dong to a dollar. And using the Charles Schwab ATM card is really helpful because there's no fees when you take the money out. So you don't have to take a lot of money out at once to avoid all the fees.
And Da Nang had pretty good walkability. Most of the places have nice wide sidewalks, and Da Nang is pretty flat, so it's got that going for it. But there are some areas where you'll find a lot of mopeds parked on the sidewalk or even no sidewalk at all. So you have to be a little bit aware of that, especially if you have mobility issues. Otherwise, we gave it a pretty good score.
Yeah, and Da Nang is a medium-sized city. It's about 1.3 million people. So it's got a decent amount of area and different sections you're going to want to explore. And you're not going to be able to do it all on foot.
So Grab, as we mentioned, is the most common ride-sharing app to use in Da Nang. But they also have taxis. The only thing with the taxi is you have to be sure to negotiate ahead of time. And then you have to have your money and fumble through that at the very end of the ride. But it is another option.
Yeah. And while we were in Da Nang that whole 3 weeks, the average cost for a Grab ride was about 40,000 dong, which is right around $2 USD. And so it's by far the most affordable way to get around super conveniently. There is a bus system in Da Nang, but it's about 50 cents to $1 a ride. And for 2 people, it just didn't make sense to try and save $1.50 here and there.
Yeah, and one thing to know when you're planning your itineraries and that type of thing, Google Maps works really well in Da Nang, which isn't the case in every city, so that's a good thing to use.
So the best market in our neighborhood was Moo Milk. It was super well located, and they carry a lot of great local goods as well as a decent amount of imported goods for when you're looking for those comfort foods.
Yeah, and those markets are kind of small, but they carry a solid selection of meat and dairy and produce. So it's really helpful, and they have a lot of dry goods. You can get pretty much anything you need. But we would still go to our local purveyors as often as we could.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a number of local produce stalls just on the side streets of the neighborhood, run by really friendly families. And we could get like a kilogram of dragon fruit or mango for like $1 USD, which is an amazing deal.
Yeah, and they're so cute when you're shopping there too, because at the very end, they'll be popping, excuse me, they'll be popping
Mm.
extra things into your bag like onions or chilies or things like that, just as a thank you for shopping with them.
So there's definitely enough to do in Da Nang, whether you're staying short term or long term. From cultural sites like the Lady Buddha to museums like the Da Nang History Museum, whether you're exploring the beaches or the mountains or tasting the amazing food.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that to give yourself at least a week in Da Nang if you're planning to come visit, just so that you have time to soak up the vibe of the town, as well as go do some of those things that Derek mentioned. And one thing that was also fun for us is there's lots of different digital nomad meetups. And we got an app to do pickleball and
Mm,
found that that was a really fun thing that we could sign up for games like at least a few times a week, which we enjoyed.
yeah. And then down on the beaches, there's things like the sunrise morning swim groups going out or yoga groups on the beach in the morning and the evenings at sunset. Um, and then surfing, I got a decent amount of surf sessions in while we were there and for really reasonable prices to rent the surfboards. There's also snorkeling and scuba a little later in the season, which we didn't get to partake in while we were there, but we definitely will next time. So Da Nang is truly a happening city.
And one of our favorite things to do also was just to roam the streets and try out different coffee shops. And Da Nang has a really strong cafe culture where people are sitting and relaxing, watching the world go by, hanging at the beach bars, or going to the beach. Like Derek said, there's more than enough to do.
Yeah. So if all these fun things sound good to you, don't miss our next video where we're going to cover 9 things that we truly love about Da Nang.
And we'll be going into a lot more detail about some of these things you're probably wondering about now. Da Nang really has 2 seasons. It's the dry season, which is February to August, and then it's the wet season, September through January.
Yeah, and we were there end of January to mid-February. And so it was the tail end of the rainy season. And it did rain about 4 or 5 days while we were there, but it was bearable. It wasn't like dumping rain or anything. And the temperatures while we were there were in the low to mid 70s.
Very pleasant.
Very pleasant, around 22, 26 degrees Celsius. Yeah. So it was perfect for us.
Yeah, and then the temperatures start heating up March and April. It gets into the mid 80s, which is 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. And then May to August, it actually gets quite hot. It gets up into the high 80s and up to the mid 90s, which is also 31 to 35 degrees Celsius. So you're going to feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then during the rainy season, the temperatures gradually work their way back down. We did meet a lot of locals and expats who are living there year round, and they all attested to the fact that during that hottest time of the year, it is really hot and humid. And during the very rainy season, it is rainy and like for the duration where you're just trudging through till the spring comes. So one thing to bear in mind, well, you can visit during the rainy season. It's still workable and definitely a livable city. But there are 2 months that you might want to avoid. October and November are the 2 months that are most likely for, if it is going to happen, for a typhoon to come. Yeah. So bear that in mind.
You don't really want a typhoon. Okay. I can easily say that Vietnamese food, since this trip to Da Nang, has risen to be one of my favorite foods in the world. It's so delicious and so fresh and so crunchy and so many varied flavors and intense flavors, but not necessarily just spicy. Very delicious food. I would say that, like from the spring rolls, the different pancake dishes, the noodle dishes, of course, the pho, the banh mi, everything was really good.
Yeah, I agree. And one of my favorite things about the food was how interactive it is. Each time you sit down for a meal, they'll bring stuff all around your plate, like fresh herbs and lettuces and sliced chilies and different spicy additions. And so you really get to feel like you are, interacting and being able to customize your dish each time.
Yeah, and the prices were really reasonable. So if you wanted to get something kind of small or quick, like a banh mi sandwich, those prices were like around $1 to $2 US per person. Ranging say 25,000 dong up to maybe 50,000, 75,000 dong. And then medium price, like at a sit down restaurant, very comfortable and delicious food, might run you anywhere from $5 to $8 per person, depending on how much food you're eating, obviously, and whether or not you're drinking also. And then a night out at a beach bar, which obviously that's much more catered towards tourists and might have Western food options, that could run you $20 per person, even 25, depending on how much you're drinking or eating, that type of thing. So all in all, very reasonable for what you're getting, which is fabulous food.
And the restaurant options are truly diverse, from Korean barbecue to pizza to burgers to Italian restaurants. So if you're looking for something international as well, you're in good hands here.
Yeah. And then there is, most importantly, coffee. The coffee in Da Nang is just so good. Vietnam grows their coffee, and Vietnamese coffee is just phenomenal. Still dreaming about every day about my beloved Cafe Moi, which is their salted coffee. That was by far my favorite. And then I loved a Cafe Sua. Derek would often get a Saigon Black. Just really yummy. And it was so nice to be able to go and have a coffee. And everywhere, whether it be a nicer, like a fancier cafe, or just a, sitting in the low chairs right on the sidewalk, enjoying a cup, always good and a real treat.
Yeah, and amazing care from the local people who are running it. So we felt completely safe and comfortable the whole time we were there in Da Nang.
Yeah, the vibe was always good. We never felt any sort of, problem whatsoever. It's a medium-sized city. You have to remain aware and cautious and just aware of your belongings and that type of thing. But no more than you do at home or anytime you're traveling. So just normal precautions. But yeah, I felt great.
So the main common language in Da Nang is Vietnamese. When speaking with locals, and we were able to get by with most interactions in English with the occasional hand signs here and there.
Yeah, but we did learn a few Vietnamese words, so we could say hello and, niceties. Hello, goodbye, have a good day, those type of things. And also it was Lunar New Year while we were there. So we learned how to say Happy New Year.
Chuk Mong Nam Moi.
And a little bit goes a long way, and it's a good thing to do anyway, to show respect and to learn.
Yeah.
Da Nang is one of the cities where we definitely heard a broad array of languages too. So walking down the streets or hanging out, you could hear anywhere from 5 to 10 languages at a time. So that was kind of exciting. We love that.
Yeah. Okay, so first impressions. This is the part where we like to do it kind of on the fly. So
first impressions. So had relatively high hopes for Da Nang because we had heard some good things. So my hopes were up there. Da Nang exceeded my expectations. I loved it. And I felt like we loved it kind of from the beginning. It just checked all the boxes. Like we said, the food was great. The coffee was great. The people were super warm and friendly. It was fun to learn a few words of the language. It was easy to navigate around and just find a lot of fun things to do. It was, hectic and crowded in some areas, but then it was also not that crowded in a lot of places, so it felt great. It was affordable and the quality was there. It wasn't just inexpensive and not good quality. It was very high quality. Just everything about it, it really did check all the boxes for me. I adored it.
Yeah, me too. And a few things that really stood out in addition to everything she just said to me were the people. The people in Da Nang are some of the most welcoming and kind people across the board, all different, like from our hosts to the neighborhood people to the storefronts, to anybody you meet on the street, and to the expats and the nomads. That was really special. The water proximity, you know, the beach in Da Nang is just phenomenal. The sand is like powder and
super soft.
Yeah, and the ocean was a comfortable temperature even that time of year when it's the coolest in the year, and it just gets warmer as the time goes on in the seasons. Got to some surfing in, which I love. Got to do some of my exercise swims. And the cultural aspects were really top notch too in my book. I was also blown away. I mean, it's one of those places on day one, you can tell it's something special.
Yeah.
And then as the days of the 3 weeks kept going, we just kept like, you know, exacerbating that feeling. So it was, I don't know if that's the right word.
No.
But
it's not.
No.
But that's okay.
But it was wonderful.
Yeah. So 2 thumbs up for Da Nang.
Yeah.
And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And please subscribe. We'd love to have you along for the ride. We appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.